We are honored to hear from an extraordinary individual, and at 70, she continues to inspire with her unique blend of public health expertise and holistic healing. A visionary businesswoman and metaphysical clinician, she's transformed countless lives through her work in health, healing, and personal growth. Please welcome back to the stage the phenomenal Dr. Linda Salvin.
Welcome to Forttuna 2025 here in India, and congratulations to all the winners. And those that haven't received your Forttuna yet, wait, because when you get that in your hands, you're going to feel your accomplishments, that it was really worth all the crap you've gone through to get here in life. Just watching and listening to all these medical professionals. My background's medicine. Background, the past, not the present. But I incorporate the background with my present in what I do with metaphysics. But before I get into what metaphysics is and why I went from epidemiology to the woo-woo, there's 7 people I need to acknowledge. You don't know them. You never will. You might if you watch my YouTube channel or do research on me. But 7 people actually supported this journey when I told them I was coming into India. And all 7 people are clients of mine who date back as long as 31 years ago when I was first on radio. I am the original radio psychic that was created in 1994 on KBIG 104 FM in Los Angeles. And the format for radio psychics, which is now on the internet, started with me. They created the brand, and I ran with it. But there's one woman by the name of Shirley Wu, who was my very first radio client on the air, and till this day is still my client 31 years later, even though I told her, don't marry Charlie, he's going to cheat on you, and he did, and she got divorced, but she's got her 2 kids, and she's lost jewelry, and she's been on cruises and calling me for help and everything. I told her, oh, look here, look there, and she'll find whatever she needed. It's all online. I'm a psychic. I became psychic in a plane crash in 1981. It's all part of this story. But Shirley has been my first and continuous client because I'm accurate in what I do. I heal, I help, I make predictions. I've talked about her kids. I've talked about her ex-husband, how to go get the money he owed her, whatever. Shirley was one of the sponsors for my trip here, and I told her I would acknowledge her. Just like there's Dr. Nathan Cohen. Dr. Nathan Cohen is one of the most well-known chiropractors in the state of California, but people from all over the world fly in to see him because not only is he a chiropractor after 45 years of practice, but he has a spiritual gift of healing that goes beyond anything I've ever seen. And it's not just chiropractic. He's also involved in DNFT, which is the direct non-force technology and technique to help heal people without cracking the spine. And he heard me on radio in 2004, which is 21 years ago, and we're friends. He sends me patients, I send him clients, and we interact, and we don't even live near each other. We're 4 hours away, but we work together. And it's people like him that have supported my career, or I will help remove negative energy from him or help him focus for the day, because as practitioners, we collect, like everybody. You collect someone else's energy and negativity. You got to wash your hands or whatever to shift gears. Dr. Cohen has been one of the biggest advocates that I can acknowledge tonight, and he, with all these other people, are going to be listed in the online. You will see as production goes forward in the next few months. There's Storm Monroe. Storm Monroe is one of the largest YouTubers out there, who has come to me since lockdown. He came to me with some problems, and then he has been coming to me almost religiously for the last 5 years. We've developed an amazing friendship. You can find him at Storm Monroe on YouTube, and he's quite a character. You do not want to miss it, and I want to say thank you, Storm, for being a part of the journey. The next person I want to acknowledge is Diane Bucci. Diane Bucci wrote a book called The Return of Mikey. Mikey had autism. Diane was one of the first pioneers in the 90s in the United States to start bringing autism to the communities, to let people know that there's a problem. And it's not just from the vaccinations. This was long before that phase took off. But Diane wrote a book of 20 years of documenting her life raising an autistic child before the medical world became adverse with it. And she documented the humor and the sadness and the challenges. And after Mikey died, he took a gun and shot himself at a Walmart. And he killed himself in 2008, I believe. And I am a medium, which I'll get to at one point. And I channeled Mikey, and that whole chapter's in the book, The Return of Mikey. I urge you to read the book on this woman's journey of raising an autistic child before it was cool to have autistic children, and also the gift that I had in bringing him to life, and it's all in the book, and it testifies my ability to communicate with the other side, because yes, it's really real. We live in the third dimension. I'm able to contact the fourth and the fifth. I have Cindy Lessner, a former naval captain who's been my client since 2003, who heard me on the radio. I used to be in 400 markets in the United States. I was nationally known for quite a long 18, 20 years on radio. But I share her husband. She was about to take a test in the Navy to go to another level, and her husband had passed away, so she flew in from out of state into Northern California to be by her husband, who, as he was dying, passed away in the hospital once she got there. And when she called me, after hearing me on the radio, I started singing the song that she had been singing to him as he passed away. Cindy's been a big supporter of me since 2004, so again, we're looking at over 20 years of a relationship. I want to acknowledge Captain Cindy Lessner. I also have Dana Precious. Dana Precious came to me 15 years ago, maybe, because her friend heard me at a book signing, and I was doing readings at that point, and I told a friend of hers that happened to be there that she was going to get some job in Japan, and they thought I was nuts, and the next day she was offered a job in Japan, so she told Dana, who loves psychics, and Dana called me, and long story short, Dana's writing my book. She's one of the co-writers on my book. So book's got pre-order forms on lindasalvin.com because Dana Precious has been precious to me for so many years. The book is finally coming out on my journey. There's reasons why I've prolonged publishing. But the book's not just on my journey, but it's mostly all the testimonials written by hundreds of people, whether it's healing, it's the readings, it's the channeling, it's my gift, it's the spirituality of what I've done to help people, touch people. And that's with Dana Precious. Go to my website and you can sign up. I have Terry Staub. Terry Staub now lives in Portugal, in Lisbon. Terry had been in Northern California up in Lake Tahoe for many, many years. Actually, I met Terry through Dr. Cohen, who referred her to me about 15 years ago, because Terry has severe health issues, especially with headaches, having gone through some very traumatic experiences. So she'll call Dr. Cohen, or then she'll call me. And after the Dubai event, I went on to Istanbul, and she and I had worked by phone for 15 years, but she met me in Istanbul, and I did a healing for her in the hotel that she was staying at. And then we went out and went to the St. Sophia and did the whole Istanbul tour. But we got to meet. But Terry's been a huge supporter and client and friend through the years. Now, why am I mentioning all these people, and why do these people stay with me? Because I'm accurate, I'm true, I'm loyal, and I'm humble enough to admit that I can help somebody, and if I don't like you, I'm not going to call you back. But these people have been a testament to the gratification I feel that I've been able to transform their lives. And because I was able to help them, we stay in touch, and we keep going through the journey of life. As you heard earlier, my background is epidemiology. I have a bachelor's in health education. I have a master's in epidemiology and a PhD in metaphysics. I was 21, 23, and 54 when those degrees were awarded to me. I am choked up because so many of you are clinical, and I started out in the clinical world. I've done meningioma research. I got out of epidemiology when I discovered that a meningioma hypothesis was to prove that that particular brain cancer was, brainstem cancer was a result of dental x-rays, but I correlated farms. All of the cases had lived on a farm. Doctors at USC didn't want to hear that, didn't go with the protocol. So I equated at the age of 22 that money equals the results as opposed to the statistics. I got out of the field because I didn't want to play the game. And I know what the games are today. I understand about AIDS. I understand about COVID. I understand what's going on from a different perspective than I'm going to really challenge here, because I am still scientific. I still follow the science. But I found God when I was in a plane crash in 1981, when all my friends were becoming yuppies and having families. I was out of my body for 4 months. No internet to go Google why or how, what to do, or where to go. All I knew is I couldn't go back to where I came from. And I just followed. I walked away from 2 record deals, a comedy deal, got 3 proposals. Wasn't ready to do anything except trying to figure out how I became so fragmented and changed. It just led me into the definition of health, which, as we know, is the state of mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Most of you here tonight work on disease, prevention, education, rehabilitation. Yes, my roommate from Michigan was in orthopedic rehabilitation. And I've been talking to her recently because my father's dying. He's on hospice as of this past Monday. So I'm dealing with, like everybody, we have life and death situations all the time, but I still showed up. I just said, you do not get to die while I'm in India. It's either before I go or when I get back. So he's on hold right now. But, life goes on. He knows that I got the Dubai Award. He has no clue that I'm in India, that I'm consciously aware of. He may have heard. I believe the soul, the spirit knows. And that's all part of what we do in healing people. We are all healers in some aspect. We all have lessons with life-altering events that can redirect our purpose. We all unlock our own potential. We may have started over here and ended up over there. I am certainly nowhere near my goals that I had as a teenager or a young adult at all. It came a life-altering event with that plane crash. I was on company business. I was doing environmental health and safety at the time for an insurance company, and on the way back from San Jose to Orange County, California, I said to my partner, doesn't the plane look like it's going to crack there? He thought I was nuts and tired. The plane cracked in half on the 17th hour, and engine fell off, as did the landing gear being stripped, and the probability of both planes, both 737s, not killing anybody was 2 billion to 1, and I survived that. And that was the day my life changed. I was 27 years old. That was 44 years ago. And a lot's happened since then. But what brought me here tonight is all the work I've done from that day till now. Your day, for however you got here tonight, is because of everything you did one day at a time, moment to moment, struggles, failures, successes, people saying, you can't. What are you, crazy? I'm not going to change the rules. If you don't like the rules, you've changed them yourselves and go out on your own and make your own. You become practitioners, you become solo practitioners. If you're working in a large conglomerate, just like with the hospitals, the joke was when I was in grad school, hospital administration was trying to be run by the doctors. The doctors don't know hospital administration, and yet the doctors try to run the hospitals. There's an old joke, what's the difference between God and a doctor? God doesn't try to be a doctor. We learn that we can't do everything, but we can all be the same, just like with the war going on the last couple of days. Linda, don't go to India. Don't go to India. I'm fine. But we're safe. We're talking spirit. If it starts within us, it's going to filter out to the next person in the community. And once the community finds the spirit and the soul and the love and the forgiveness and the balance and the harmony, which doesn't always exist in corporate America, it doesn't always exist in the clinical environment. There's so many egos in the surgical room or on the floor or whatever. I couldn't handle it. I saw beyond the statistics or, no, epidemiology is this way. I said, no, it's not. So instead of me following their rules, I found my own. How did I find that? I surrendered because I had no idea what to do, where to go, or how to do it. I just kept repeating the definition of health in my mind, and somewhere I said, nobody's doing spiritual health. So I started opening doors to spirituality. It doesn't necessarily mean religion. There's just a higher purpose or a higher being. There's something guiding us. However you define it. I'm a Jewish girl, but yet I had a Christ awakening. Then I was in where was I? I was in Bangkok, and I got into the Buddhas. Well, wait a minute. Well, there's Christ, and there's the everlasting light, and there's Moses. Now there's Buddhas. Now there's Hinduism. It's all the same. I don't care how you get there. It's all within you. It's all within you. And by being risk takers and being resilient, that every time you get knocked over, like those Bozo the Clowns we used to punch when we were kids, it always bounced back because it had the sand bottom. It never really fell over. It just bounces. That's who we are. You're rejected from a record deal. You're rejected from a HR department. You're rejected from a college, a university. I applied to Harvard. I applied to Yale. Everybody thought I was crazy, but I got into Michigan, Harvard in the Midwest. My dad said, yeah, go ahead, apply. Nobody believed I'd do it, and I got it. I got in. And on a scholarship. You can do what you want. Doesn't always mean it's right. And if it's not right, the universe is going to redirect you. That's where the resiliency comes in, and that's where building a brand comes from. By knocking on doors, trying to figure out who you are, what you want, how you want to do it. I created a brand of Dr. Linda because I got into radio. I opened doors with the FCC where we weren't supposed to do psychic stuff on the radio, and we did it. And then I got recruited, and then I got nationally syndicated, and then I was on TV. That's not epidemiology. That's not clinical work, but it opened up, and I just kept going. I just kept showing up. I showed up so many times, I ended up getting these emails from a group called Forttuna. I'm sure a few of you got them. I deleted them 4 times. Rollo knows. I didn't care. It's like, how many times you get solicited? Oh, you've been selected for this award. You pay $2,000 and should come. No. Delete. I finally said, all right, let me talk to this guy. Well, I filled out my form, and a couple months later, I was accepted. And I was not in the health industry. No, I won Businesswoman of the Year for Media and Entertainment. I'm like, well, for the USA. I'm like, what? And I was keynote in Dubai, and here I am tonight. And I'm here tonight to help you understand you're right where you're supposed to be spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And whatever's not balanced, it will balance. It will change if you want to change. Just like I said during the panel, nutrition, spirituality, take care of yourself. We cannot be of service to other people if we're not in service to ourselves. And when you're messed up or screwed up and trying to give all the advice all the time, it doesn't balance. You've got to be focused. You've got to be grounded. Integrative health and wellness is where I've gone, where I have certain health products that I offer people for more nutritional balance, healing. I grew up in the drug culture. I grew up on diet pills. I grew up on, take something to fix it. I don't take anything because I've learned my body will heal me. There are products out there. I don't need the chemicals. Although my mother died of lung cancer, and of course, I believe the chemo killed her, and that was the last thing she said to me. They're killing me with the chemo, and she died the next day. Does chemo help? That's another story. We all have an opinion. We all have experiences, but it's our personal empowerment within each of our careers, our passions, our desires, our statistics, our technology, our brilliance, our singing, our voices, our educational systems. We have to come together, but we have to be more unified and try to understand the next problem to really make a difference. Metaphysics, wellness, the trends and energy with medicine, healing. I don't sit and pray every day. I don't do yoga every day. No, I don't bring that. But when I am talking to corporate people, clinical people, media people, whatever corporate structure that I'm not quite a part of anymore, it's still the holistic spiritual being that I have changed into that gets me where I'm going next. And that's the message I want to give to you no matter where you are now, whether it's medically, and all of us want to help. We're all here to help the next person. That's why we're in this industry, where it's all about service, even though our ego says, I need more money, I need the car, I need the house, I need the trip. And once you get it, sometimes that Mercedes just doesn't make you feel good. But it's always the inside job. You know, my mission is to awaken people to the inner healer. There was a man here last night, I gave the keynote, and I was introduced to, and he had a thumb problem, and I fixed it. He said, no, the doctor said it. I said, watch. And in 10 minutes, I did something to this man's thumb. I said, well, what's going on here? It's something about the past. He had just buried his mother 2 months ago, and the thumb started hurting. But I know metaphysically how to fix things like that. I do what doctors haven't been able to do. There was a gift, and that comes from God. How come they chose me? Don't know. Why was I saved? Don't know. After the plane crash, I was hit by a fire truck, totaled a car, had the white light experience, given the choice to live or die. I've seen the other side. But we're here. We're here. And while you're here, all I suggest is that you help other people find the meaning, direction, and empowerment through yourselves and pass it on to the next, because we can't keep it unless we give it away. Thank you.